Gracie.
Oh my god.
What are you doing? What?
She's stuck on the cables.
Are you stuck on Mommy's mic cable?
Can you pull it out from under her?
What happened here?
Hi everyone, I'm Anna.
And I'm Brian.
And we are
Those Annoying
Vegans! And today is the second episode of our
Lentils
trilogy. We are making a delicious red lentil dal today.
That's right, a dish that involves a combination of coconut milk and ginger, one of my favorite flavor combinations, plus heaps of red lentils, and we even added in some potatoes, some carrots, and some green peas, because why have one legume when you can have two?
And as always, this recipe is delicious, affordable, and easy to make.
So let's make it.
Let's make it. What are you doing in there?
Here it is.
Oh my gosh. How can I describe
so
this? I could describe this like this is the same pleasure you get from eating mashed potatoes, but with texture. It's that warm, cozy, comfort foody feeling. Except it's not really classified as comfort food because it's comfortable to
It's
eat,
comfortable.
but it's
Definitely
healthy.
provides comfort. Once, we made this for the first time, we always keep red lentils stocked in the kitchen because there's always the possibility of making red lentil soup or red lentil dal. They're both delicious. I love this dish because it has like a sweetness to it. Like the red lentil soup is very savory.
Sweet potato-y almost.
Even though they're not sweet potatoes. But you can use sweet potatoes.
It's all in the spices. It's all in the spices, you guys. If there's one thing I didn't know how to use before I went vegan was spices. I was like salt and pepper, that's it. But then you start learning all about what the different spices do and what foods they go well with, and it's an adventure. This is now full. You can't see it, but we have a spice rack right there. And it's about yay tall and yay wide. And it's full of spices.
Speaking of which, garam masala, that's something we have not cooked with before. Until we made this. And it's quite good. It's like kind of cinnamony.
We have made it without, though, and it still tastes really good.
Yeah, you can just use just cumin, double the cumin if you don't have the garam masala. It tastes really good, just like that. But that just adds like a little. And a lot of the recipes you might find online don't use red onion. We used red onion because that's what we had in the cupboard. But if you want to use yellow onion, and as you can see, no oil required because you just do a little splash of water, or you can use a little splash of veggie stock, and you can make your own veggie stock, as we always tell you. The thing about sauteing with water or with veggie stock, number one most important item, a lid. A lid is useful. So you do some water, do some onion, some garlic, whatever, put the lid on.
That way the steam.
Because otherwise all the water is just going to evaporate and all your stuff's going to be stuck to the bottom of your pan.
Yeah.
That's no good. Number two, feel free to just add in a little splash of water or veggie stock as it starts to evaporate, just to keep everything from, again, sticking to the pan. And that's sort of something you get used to, like, because when you cook with oil, oil doesn't evaporate like water. So it just coats everything, which is nice, but it also coats the inside of your body, which is not nice. You don't want to damage your endothelium when you don't have to. So water, veggie stock, it's real simple. Add it as you see fit. The more liquid you add in, like we added an extra cup of water. If you want to add more, I'm sure you can.
Yeah, it'll just be softer.
Yeah, lentils will be softer. They might get bigger. They're going to soak up whatever liquid you put in there. These are kind of like medium firmness, I would say.
Like the al dente of pasta, which I like.
It's good.
I like texture. And feel free to throw it over a bed of brown rice with some spinach or kale or greens, anything you like. Because this is a great entree, but it can also be a great side dish. So today we are celebrating 10,000 subscribers.
What?
That happened this week.
That's amazing. Isn't that amazing?
Thank you guys. I mean, this is all because of you, and you help us by sharing our videos and tagging us on Instagram and YouTube. You know, we so appreciate when people say, oh, you should have more subscribers. You helped us get there.
And so to thank you and celebrate 10,000 subscribers, yesterday on Instagram, we asked you guys to ask us any questions you want, and we would have a Q&A today. Now, if you're not following us on Instagram, please do. But it's okay. You didn't miss your shot, because we're going to ask you guys to do the same thing here on YouTube. Ask us a question in the comments below, and we will have those answers for you when we do our final episode of the Lentil Trilogy. So these are the questions that you guys asked on Instagram. Let's check them out. How did we meet? How did we go vegan? We did have a 1,000 subscriber Q&A a while back where we tackled that story.
Yep.
But we can give you the quick version.
The quick version is we met at a wedding. Neither of us were vegan. I was vegetarian. Brian was not.
I was not at all.
We moved in together and we decided to stop buying eggs and cheese.
Yep.
And we went full vegan.
Yep.
You went from being a meat eater to full vegan.
Yeah, I was vegetarian only for a couple months before we both just decided to go vegan.
I went from being a 5-year vegetarian to full vegan. And the only problem with how it happened is there wasn't a day.
No.
We don't even have a vegan anniversary.
No.
Because we don't know the
remember.
day that we stopped. We just decided to stop. We went to, it was like...
We were at Trader Joe's. The last animal product that we were buying on a consistent basis were these Parmesan cheese shreds that we would use for like lasagna and stuff. And one day at Trader Joe's, we just said, well, what if we just don't buy them? And then the next week we did it again.
And again.
And then again. What made us go vegan?
I watched Earthlings, and I made the connection about meat immediately. I stopped eating meat that day. Dairy and eggs and fish, 5 years. And I still don't understand it. I try to remember what was my mindset? What was I thinking? Why did I not make the connection? We have to remember that sometimes it took us just as long as the people that we are now trying to outreach. And when we write our comments on Instagram and YouTube, remember that many vegans did not make the connection immediately. After Earthlings, what made me connect more to the dairy and egg industry was Aaron Janice's videos.
I went vegetarian for a beautiful woman. That's the honest truth. I was moving in with someone that I loved and wanted to spend my life with, and I didn't want to eat meat across from somebody who doesn't eat meat for ethical reasons. And then, as our education continued, we both went vegan. The more I learned about the ethical implications of eating animal products, the more that is now my core reason for being vegan. And so that's another thing to keep in mind too, is that a person's reason for going vegetarian or vegan may be different than a person's reason for staying vegan. Because you accumulate all of this knowledge and it can't help but change you. And I will say that after watching the footage from Earthlings, that will definitely keep you vegan.
Often we'll get messages from people saying, you know, oh, I slipped up, I feel so guilty, and, you know, what do I do? And we're like, well, first thing, watch Earthlings, watch Dominion. Because it's easy to say that, yeah, I know what happens, I know how it is, I know what the animals go through. It's one thing to know it, and one thing to witness it. And once you witness it, you connect.
How long have we been vegan? Well, like we said, we don't really know.
Much longer than it is.
Yes. We think that trip to Trader Joe's took place sometime in December of 2015.
Yeah.
So we could either
make it almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years. We should just pick a date.
I remember the very last meal I had at someone else's house that wasn't vegan. It was that lasagna.
Yes.
Remember?
Yep.
And I was sitting there eating it, and I remember at that moment feeling conflicted.
And that was close to the holidays.
That might have started it. We could go back through our email history and figure it out, I'm sure.
Yeah. Do you guys work outside of YouTube, or is YouTube your career? Well, as appreciative as we are that we made it to 10,000 subscribers,
yeah.
Any YouTuber will tell you that 10,000 subscribers is not enough
to
make YouTube your career. So
No.
we both have full-time jobs.
Yes. I work as a voiceover artist primarily. That is my living. And I'll occasionally book a commercial or two.
I'm a marketing and advertising writer for the corporate offices of Guitar Center, which is out here in Southern California. I'm a musician, as some of you may know. I play guitar, I play drums. I'm an actor as well. I take a weekly acting class. I've even done a little bit of voiceover. Un poquito.
What's your favorite vegan food?
Ooh.
I had a killer mac and cheese at Ocado a few weeks ago, and that by far has been probably the most mind-blowing vegan food experience. Gosh, but there are so many. There are so many more.
That's going to be a hard one to nail down. Vegan food is no different than non-vegan food because all the flavors are the same.
Yeah, it tastes the same.
So like I love pizza, and before I went vegan, I loved pizza, and now that I'm vegan, I still love pizza. So we just make vegan pizza with vegan mozzarella. I really love a good burger though, still. Thousand Island or barbecue sauce on it. It's always solid.
We might be experimenting with that in an upcoming video.
What?
Burritos. I mean, desserts. What's the best
Pumpkin
dessert?
pie.
Pumpkin pie. Well, you like pumpkin pie.
Like you just agree with me. You're like, well, that's
It's not my favorite dessert.
it's over here.
Remember that lemon recipe we made?
Yeah.
Like it was like our first few videos.
Yeah.
That has got to be one of my favorite
Yeah.
desserts.
What do we call it? Like a lemon crumble parfait?
Yeah.
Something like
Oh
that.
my gosh, that was good.
You can watch it right here. We don't even remember what it's called. So
Because it was like one of our first videos.
To be honest, I really love my breakfast every morning, and it's oats, fruit, and a good amount of peanut butter. Like that combination is really good.
I had that the seitan ribs I had at vegan street fair nights.
Oh, buffalo wings. How could I forget that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuffed mushrooms. Olak
Yeah.
has some really good stuffed pesto mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Mushrooms are probably one of my favorite foods out there.
Massaman curry.
Oh yeah,
That's
Thai.
like Thai food is solid. Always
Thai
solid.
food.
So I don't know, all the vegan food.
All the vegan
All
food.
the vegan food is our favorite.
Are there any supplements we feel are essential or that we recommend and take ourselves?
Yes, two come to mind. And the reason two come to mind is because doctors like Neil Barnard of the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine recommend two. So this isn't Anna and Brian's recommendation. This is people that are way, way smarter than us and way more experienced with actually dealing with patients. Vitamin D and vitamin B12. Regardless of if you're a vegan or not. And the reason is because you should be getting your vitamin D from the sun, but as we know, people spend a lot of time indoors, watching TV, going to the movies, people work indoors, they play video games.
And some countries don't even get enough sunlight.
Yeah. So if you're too far away from the equator or if you don't go outside enough, vitamin D deficiency is very common among everyone. And vitamin B12, the reason doctors recommend that you take that is because it's not produced by either animals or plants.
Animals are supplemented with it because nowadays in factory farms, animals cannot forage, and we get our vitamin B12 from bacteria in the soil. And just the same, there are many, many foods that are fortified with B12, such as nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
40% of your daily value of B12 is in 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast.
Lots of breakfast cereals are also fortified with B12. Lots of plant milks are fortified with B12 and D. And dairy products are also fortified with D. People think that there's vitamin D in dairy. It's fortified. A cup of raw cow's milk does not contain the same amount of vitamin D that a cup of pasteurized cow milk does, because when they pasteurize it, they also fortify it, generally, with vitamin D. Some countries, by law, like Canada, where there's not adequate sunlight, so they fortify their dairy with D, by law. The more you know. What would we suggest for someone living in a town where there are no vigils, no cubes of truth, how to be an activist in that type of environment? You can always start your own.
Yes, that is as easy as starting a meetup. Vegans will find you if you put it out there. And once you get a group of people, you can start talking about what you can do together. It's much easier to do it together. So start a meetup. That would be our first suggestion. Once you're together, you can decide whether you want to start a cube of truth and what supplies you need. You can decide whether you want to maybe take a field trip to a farm and hold a vigil there. Or you can decide whether you want to protest outside of a particular establishment. You can decide whether you want to organize a march, a silent vigil. You can also start your very own vegan fair. They had to start somewhere. California was there too once upon a time, and someone started it. So let that person be you.
There's also chalk activism, there's sticker activism, even wearing vegan t-shirts to where you work or to school or just with friends and family. Like, there's various forms of activism.
Art is activism. If you do art, get it out there. Or you can go to your local grocery store and get everybody to write a letter asking for more vegan products. It works. People
may get the idea that, like, oh, in LA, you know, every vigil is massive with hundreds of people and the police are there and it's a big event. Like, no, some vigils are smaller than others. Some vigils are less frequent than others. You know, it doesn't have to be one way. Whatever you think you can do. Are we going to upload anything specific, or do we just upload whatever we want? I guess the short answer is, yeah, we upload whatever we want.
Yeah.
But we try to have a structure. You know, we try to have a balance. Obviously, we started doing recipes. That was our main thing for like a full year.
Yeah.
And to this day, the bulk of all of our videos are still recipe videos.
Yeah. With way more mukbangs thrown in there, field trips.
Vegan fairs, cubes of truth, vigil footage. As we evolve in our vegan journey, we're going to bring you guys with us.
Yeah.
We're going to show you. Our mukbang videos are very popular, so we know you guys like those. But we also heard from plenty of you, hey, when are you getting back in the kitchen? We want to see more recipes. So here we are in the kitchen. We want you guys to enjoy the channel, but we also want to bring you guys with us.
Yeah, we're building such a strong community with the activists here. It's our first time actually having a good solid base of vegan friends. And it's really exciting. It's exciting because you're passionate about the same things and you can go out together and talk about veganism until the sun comes up, and it's really fulfilling. It's nice to feel like you're in this together. And believe me, they're out there. They're in your town. Heck, in my acting class, there were 2 other vegans who hadn't come out of the closet. I was like, you guys, like, I thought I was the only one.
Yeah, there's a woman at my office who, she saw my vegan shirt one day. She's a relatively new employee. Before a meeting started, she was like, I just want to let you know, I'm vegan too.
Come out of the closet, guys.
They exist. We're everywhere.
You never know. Your best friend could be vegan.
I know.
Yeah, I know. We blend right in.
Will we be doing any more mukbangs? No.
Never.
No.
Never again.
What is our advice to vegans in small towns that have little to no vegan alternatives?
Like, you mean at restaurants or grocery stores? I mean, for one, write to them. Write to them, talk to the manager. You are the consumer. You are what dictates what sells. A good way to get the ball rolling is to compose a short letter or email and send it to your friends and ask them to customize it in their own way and have them send it to that particular grocery store. I mean, when they start hearing from people on a regular basis, they're going to start stocking up.
And we assume when you say vegan alternatives, you mean vegan processed foods like the Beyond Burger and vegan cheese and vegan hot dogs and all that stuff. And I mean, I don't know what type of tiny your town is. But I grew up in a relatively small town, and even the Kroger there now carries Beyond Burgers, Chow Cheese, Field Roast, hot dogs. Like, there usually is a vegetarian section of most grocery stores, even if you go to have a Target, even if you have a Walmart. And at restaurants, I mean, it's really hard to find a restaurant that you absolutely can't veganize.
If it comes to that. It's not like you're eating there every day, right? So if it comes to that.
There is a channel on YouTube that has a lot of recipes showing you how to veganize a lot of like standard American foods. I can't remember the name.
What are they called?
I'll have to find. Oh, we'll find it. We'll link it below.
Do we believe that the future is vegan, or is it just a stupid dream? We believe that the future is vegan. Of course,
Yes.
There's no way around it. Compassion is contagious. Justice always wins.
That is the only logical end point for humanity. There's too many people now that believe that the exploitation of animals is wrong. We are two of them. And that population is just growing and growing and growing. So it actually can't turn around and go the other way. In the same way that we're not going to reverse civil rights either, or women's rights, or we're not going to go back to slavery. Like, it's not going to happen. We're going one direction. And so that's just the logical conclusion to these events. It's just a matter of when. It's not a matter of if. I've been told by many people that one person can't make a difference.
Wow. Wow, that is not the way things work.
Yeah, whoever tells you that is wrong. You will make a difference.
What would have happened if Martin Luther King had stayed at home? In our current vegan community, Earthling Ed, how many people has he inspired? James Aspie, Dr. Neil Barnard. These are individuals. These are individuals who decided to speak up and influence a sea of people.
Yeah.
Think of it this way. Think of it as a matchstick. And you have a ton of matchsticks and you light one on fire. What's going to happen? And that's what happened with us. We started out as us. And now we're at 10,000 subscribers, and we love hearing about how we've inspired you. And it's amazing to see the impact that a single person can have. Even if you inspire one other person in your entire life, which is probably not going to happen, you're probably going to inspire a lot more. That one person goes on to inspire other people, and so on. It's a web effect. There is no way that one person cannot make a difference.
The one person can't make a difference thing implies that people are isolated. And we're not isolated, we're all connected. We're a social species. We talk, we converse, we share ideas. We shape the way other people think, and other people shape the way we think. Do we have any advice on how to talk to people without coming across as preachy or pushy, etc., etc.?
Yes. One of our favorite ways to talk to people is we use the Socratic method. So turn your statement into a question.
When you deliver statements to people, people tend not to listen. But when you ask questions, you involve the other person, and then they have to come up with the answer from inside their own head. And that's the voice that people listen to. Your goal, much like the movie Inception, is to place a thought
planted right there.
Yeah, in their head and make them think that they came up with it. When you ask a question, you're literally not preaching. You're not pushing any belief. You're just asking a question.
And whatever the answer is, turn it into another question.
Every step can be a new question. You're leading them down a path. People will inevitably get stumped. Some people admit that they're stumped and they don't have a good answer. Some people get angry at the fact that they got stumped, like I did back in the day. Some people get frustrated. Some people get dismissive. Everyone's different. But your job when you're talking to someone, when you're doing outreach on behalf of veganism, your job is not to turn that person vegan. Your job is to plant as many little thoughts and ideas in their head as you can, and then let them go home with it.
Because inevitably they will probably hear it from somewhere else, and you're just filling that glass. You're filling that glass. You're filling that glass. Sometimes it might just take one last drop to reach that 100% full. And you might end up being that person who puts that last drop in the glass and helps someone go vegan. And just remember that when people do get angry or frustrated, that it's not about you. It's never about you. It is difficult to confront oneself in the sense that, oh my gosh, have I been participating in cruelty my entire life? And it's almost like this like your world just turns upside down and you're like, but I am a good person. It's conflicting. So of course people are going to get frustrated, and try to be with them on that journey of their feelings. Don't negate, don't invalidate, but acknowledge. And acknowledge, most importantly, that you were there too and you understand how they're feeling.
What are our thoughts on Christianity and veganism? Because I've seen quotes in the Bible that are both for and contradict veganism. Well, both of us grew up Christian. There is no statement in the Bible that mandates that you must kill an animal and eat them
in order to be a good Christian. In fact, we would point to one of the most important commandments of all, thou shalt not kill, and it does not come with an asterisk. FYI.
We intuitively, as human beings, we understand that killing is wrong. We are indoctrinated into a society that tells us that it's okay. We wouldn't kill your pet dog, your pet cat, any animal that you're close to. You would never kill. Even farmers, you know, when we've talked to farmers, they'll say that, well, I had this one calf that I just couldn't send off to slaughter. Why the one calf? I think you care. I think you have some feelings. Given that there's no decree that we must kill an animal, I don't see a contradiction with Christianity and veganism. You can be a Christian and be a vegan.
The way I personally interpret this argument, there's a passage in the Bible, in Genesis, it's 1:29, and it states that God gave us every seed-bearing plant and every tree with seed-bearing fruit, and that would be our food. What happened after the fall of man, that was a mess, and still is.
And as Earthling Ed always asks people, you know, do you think that God would approve of the way that we're treating his or her animals? You know, an all-knowing, all-loving, all-caring God. Do you think that he or she would be happy with factory farming, for example?
They're his creatures. What would Jesus do if he were walking through a factory farm, through a slaughterhouse? Do you think he would go vegan? Or do you think he would continue to participate in the cruelty?
And if you want to go as far to say, well, of course, factory farming is bad, okay, but then that would mean eliminating 99% of all animal products from your diet. And if you're going to do that, that's a massive step in the right direction.
Last question for now. Figs, yay or nay?
Yay.
I like figs.
Figs
I
are
like dried mission figs.
Yeah.
Or black mission figs.
Black mission figs.
Black mission figs, which are dried fruit.
Yeah. Figs on a pizza. Good.
Yum.
Fig Newtons. Good. Get the vegan ones.
Yeah.
Palm oil free. Ooh, what's that company? Nature's Bakery or something?
Yeah.
They make like fig bars?
Yeah, those are pretty good.
Eating just raw figs. Tasty.
Yeah. They're sweet. They're juicy. They're little. Didn't we make fig jelly too?
Yes, we made fig jelly.
So thank you guys for all these questions.
Yes.
And we hope to get some more for our next video.
Yes, leave them down below and we will answer them in the next video. Now it's time for very quick vegan news.
Vegan news! LA is fur-free.
What?
It passed.
What?
It passed, you guys. We
Come
were
on
there.
now.
We heard it with our ears. We were part of history.
And it was a unanimous vote.
12 yeses.
No one wanted to be that one person that was like, nah, I'm cool with skinning foxes alive.
Los Angeles is going fur-free as of January 1st, 2020.
And it only happened because a very small group of committed individuals made it happen.
Second, as of Friday, SB 1249 passed. So Governor Jerry Brown signed into law the California Cruelty-Free Cosmetics Act, which prohibits any cosmetics be sold in California that have been tested on animals.
And very quickly, saw this news article we thought was worth bringing up. IKEA now offers vegan hot dogs at IKEA stores. And not just IKEA, but a lot of places like...
Del Taco
yeah.
just started making Beyond Meat tacos.
And we've heard before about McDonald's offering the McVegan in other countries, Domino's offering vegan cheese in other countries. Like, it's picking up.
And if your Whole Foods plant-based, we get it. Like, stick with that. That's the best. But if you like your junk food, there's nothing wrong with going and showing your support of these vegan products, because that's where we want companies to transition. We know a lot of vegans who say they only support vegan establishments. It's good to do so, but we want companies to transition, and we can only do that by voting with our dollar on the products that are vegan, that they carry.
So basically the whole world's going vegan and the future is vegan and everything's awesome and unicorns and rainbows. So if you guys like this video, please click that thumbs up down below. That really helps us out. And if you haven't already, subscribe! And make sure you crush that notification bell. That way you will be notified when we put out a new video.
And check out our Facebook and our Instagram and our Etsy store for some cool vegan swag. We post a lot on Instagram, and in turn, those post on Facebook automatically. So Instagram and Facebook, we're very active. If you're not getting enough of us here on YouTube, go follow us there.
And an enormous thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon. You guys are amazing. You're the best. You support our activism, and you bring us ever so closer to our goal of being full-time activists. And if you like what we do and you want to support us, the link is in the description below.
Bye!
Also guys, October 30th, we will be sort of co-hosting a screening of the movie Dominion here in Los Angeles, and the producer, Sean Munson, who is also the director of Earthlings, will be there for a Q&A.
We know we haven't been as on the clock with our video uploads lately, and that is because, as you know, we are doing way more activism now than we used to. I think it's like 3 vigils a week at least now, plus the occasional cube of truth. We had a bunch of vegan festivals. In fact, we're missing one right now because we were like, you know what? Let's take a break.
We have the Vegetarian Fest, which is actually a vegan fest.
Yeah.
But they call it Vegetarian Fest to like soften the blow to the general public.
We went to MacLeod last week, which was interesting. 12 different vegan chefs made their mac and cheese, and you got to vote on the best one. We went to Love Always Sanctuary again that morning for your birthday. And I've been trying to get out more. I was stuck on this project for like 4 months, and I didn't see sunlight for 4 months, pretty much. No, that's an exaggeration. I would see sunlight on weekends. So I'm trying to get back in touch with nature, where I love to be. I've always loved to be. Poetry and art. Just trying to reconnect. Going back to my favorite places and just... Exactly.
Crazy, man.
That's always important to do. You know, to recharge your batteries. Hello, Gracie. Oh, what are you doing?
What are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Look at that face.
You haven't been on camera in a little while, huh?
I know, just like I miss it.
This is Gracie. Tell everyone how old you are now. How old are you, Gracie?